To Four Phonies Talking Titans, and this is Shay, and I'm sitting here, normally it's a rant, but tonight is, we're getting ready for training camp. Well, I'm recording this, and we are 16 days away from training camp starting, guys reporting. So, as the Phonies, we're gonna get ourselves together, start a little, I guess, our little practice for the season of recording live. Um, First of all, I want to touch on the offensive line tonight. That's my focus, the offensive line. So, we got to always start where we know things are set. We signed Cushenberry, and we are set at center. Finally, been a few years. We're set at center, so that is a bright spot. We got bigger there in center, someone not as small. So that's great. Left guard, we're set. Skronsky back. He's going to be back. He's coming off the appendectomy, and he kind of was slowed him down a little bit toward the end of the seasons, but he's looking bigger, looking stronger. So set there. Drafted J.C. Latham, left tackle. Going to move him to left tackle. We're set there going into the season. So where we are not set at right guard or right tackle. That's a whole side of the line, not one spot, but both spots we are not set at. And I love Bill Callahan being our coach and everything, but man, it's hard when you're not set at two spots on the same side of the offensive line, because last year our offensive line was really, really weak. Really, really weak. We were ranked toward the bottom of the NFL as an offensive line last year. Things should get better with Cushenberry, with Latham, but it's a big question mark on that right side. It's a big question mark. And you started right guard. Brunskill is back, but it doesn't seem like the coaching staff want Brunskill to play right guard because he's been taking some snaps as a center. So it looks like his best bet of making the team is going to become the backup center and maybe a swing guard, because he, if somebody gets hurt, he can step in at guard, be the backup center, and a swing guard is going to be his best bet. And the big talk during mini camps, OTA, all of that was Charles was going to be the right guard. That's just by technique. You're in shorts, no pads on. He has experience at guard, but he has some experience at tackle. So that's a plus. But, it's good to see that somebody has kind of stepped up, got a little ahead. But my thing is, what is Dylan doing in practice? And not just with this coaching regime, with the past coaching regime, that he actually played. I thought he played good in games, but evidently he's doing something wrong in practice that his name is not mentioned as a starter. One year he was almost given a starter position and he got beat out. You kind of thought this year he could be battling Brunskill or to overtake Brunskill, but then we get Charles and Charles overtakes him. So what is Dylan doing? Dylan, right now, you've got a lot of work, son. If you want to make this team, you have a lot of work. And I'll get back to that later about some guys that's gonna have a little questions of making this team. They shouldn't have questions. They've been there. But right tackle, whew, last year we struggled at our left tackle position. We were okay at right tackle until Hubbard got hurt, and that hurt us at right tackle. But most of the people we would say NPF coming back. Okay, he's coming off surgery, but he's been there. He's played left. He's played right tackle. I mean, right tackle. NPF would be a guy. But then Callahan brings in one of his guys, Leroy Watson. So, hey, Leroy's been getting all the reps while NPF has been mended from his injury. You know, can't do nothing about that. He's mended from his injury. So Watson has a step on him. Guy John O has been getting a lot of reps at right tackle. So NPF, you coming in behind the 8 ball at right tackle. You got 2 guys ahead of you. So that's hard. Another guy I guess he was injured too, Duncan. He's a project. He was a project last year when we drafted him. He's still a project. You know, he's a guy that we had to play him last year, but he could just be on the practice squad, get better, maybe not. He may get cut. I don't know. But that brings me to guys that are on the fence that going into the season, you wouldn't think they were on the fence. And most people may not think all these guys are on the fence. I'm thinking they're on the fence for me, for what they should be. And that goes back to Dillon. That goes to Brunskill. And that goes to NPF. Those guys to me are on the fence of making this team. Yes, we need backups. Yet those guys have filled in. Dillon has filled in as a backup before. Brunskill was a starter. He'll be good to fill in if we need somebody. But you guys shouldn't be that way. NPF, you came in last year and you was not focused. You had your issues of getting suspended. And then when you came back, you were not focused. I didn't think you had a great rookie year. That was me. I thought the trash on the left side was so bad, it covered up the things that you were doing on the right side. So I think Dillon is one that really, he needs to watch himself. He needs to watch himself because it's not automatic that he's going to make it as the backup guard. You got to watch yourself because there's a bunch of guys at that fighting for that right tackle spot. There's a bunch of guys fighting for that right tackle spot. So if you just say, I mentioned Watson and John O, who have been getting the reps in the camps, they were getting the reps and they're ahead of NPF. But let's just say they stay ahead of NPF. Dillon, NPF, that don't mean that NPF is getting cut. NPF could easily be knocked down to a guard if he's playing well enough and playing better than you. He could be knocked down to a guard. So I think Dillon, you are in the most trouble right now because you aren't like a Brunskill that, hey, I can go over there and play center. I can play center and get a spot by being the backup center. You're not like that right now. So Dillon, to me, you've got to come into camp focused, not jumping off sides, and make sure everything is right with what you're doing. Show the coaches that you want to be on this team because I'm telling you, one of those guys at tackle could be knocked down to a guard. And NPF is a good candidate to be moved to guard because of the way I saw his feet as a rookie. Not the greatest feet, but he would do good on the interior. So y'all guys on that right side better pick it up. And there could be some guy that come out of nowhere and take over one of those positions. So we're going into the season, into camp, training camp, not the season. Glad we're not going into the season like that. We're going into training camp with the left side solid, solidified, taken. Center solid, solidified, taken. But big question marks on the right side. And we've got to make sure we get that handled within the first couple of weeks of training camp. I don't want to go into the season and we're thinking first game, who's going to start at right guard, who's going to start at right tackle. And that's all I got to say about the offensive line. You guys, check us out. 4Phonies. Facebook, X. Check out our lives this coming up season. And I'm going to be 4Phonies out.